my biggest dream in life to be able to one time go to Japan for vacation. I guess most people on the countryside in Germany just thought I was a bit strange and they couldn't understand my passion for Japan at all. My mother died a few years ago, way too young because of cancer. So I had my very first time in Japan in 2019 and it was really good. こんにちは皆さん、サラと申します。ドイツ出身で29歳です。北ドイツの小さな田舎の村で育ちました。趣味は料理とピアノを弾くことです。1年前に日本に行きました。日本人の夫と一緒に行きました。日本に来てから毎日勉強しています。まだ日本語が上手じゃないので、今日は英語でインタビューに答えます。すみません。よろしくお願いします。I guess my interest in Japan already developed in my childhood because during that time it was the first time that animes appeared in German television. So I saw like a lot of Japanese food in animes like Sailor Moon or Shin-chan, and I was really interested in Japanese food, to be honest. So I guess for other people it's more like they're interested in animes first and then they're interested into Japan. But for me it was more like, oh, this food looks really delicious. I really want to try this food. I remember that I saw something really strange in an episode of Shin-chan. He was eating like some slimy beans. And I thought, それはなんだっけこれは納豆です。In my hometown, we didn't have really any like Japanese restaurants or any possibilities to go to buy Japanese foods for grocery shopping. So I tried my best. I was ordering some ingredients online sometimes. And my mother was also so kind. She bought some cookbooks for me so that I can learn more Japanese recipes. But I guess most people on the countryside in Germany just thought I was a bit strange and they couldn't understand my passion for Japan at all. So yeah, as soon as I started working, I earned some money in my job as a medical assistant, and then I moved to Dusseldorf instead. Dusseldorf is a city that is located in the middle west of Germany, and it has a really large community of Japanese people. There are so many Japanese citizens, so they also had a lot of Japanese shops and also restaurants. So suddenly it was really easy for me to buy groceries and to cook Japanese food. And during that time, I also met my husband the first time. My first impression of Japanese people was always that they are really polite and yeah, they are not rude at all. They always care for others and the whole culture is just so peaceful culture to experience here. I remember one time in school that I first tried to make onigiri and wanted to make onigiri for school and take it with me like in anime. But my first onigiri looked really disgusting. It was like a ball and it didn't taste at all. I didn't season the rice and it was just disgusting. And I showed it to my other people at school and they were like, oh, what is this? And I was like, it's an onigiri. Yeah, this is what I remember from my school time. Yeah, and I also had like, I guess 3 friends in my class and they also watched anime all the time. So we also could talk about the newest episodes in school, something like this. But I guess they were never so much interested in Japanese culture or in Japan at all. They were just enjoying the animes and the episodes, but they were never so much into Japanese culture. I always wanted to go to Japan. It was like my biggest dream in life to be able to one time go to Japan for vacation. And I never had like a friend or a family member that would like to go with me. So I always waited for this moment to happen in my life one day. And then after I met my husband in Düsseldorf, it was my very first time to go to Japan in 2019. It was my very first Japan travel. It was actually shortly before all the COVID-19 thing happened. Yeah, so we were quite lucky with the timing. Otherwise, yeah, it would be difficult. So I had my very first time in Japan in 2019 and it was really good. I loved the 2 weeks that we spent it in Japan. I think 3 weeks after we came back to Germany, Corona started. And I remember I bought some masks, face masks in Japan, and yeah, then I had to use them because of Corona in Germany. It was really close, yeah. A really cultural shock also, and a surprising thing during our first trip to Japan was my husband was always complaining in Düsseldorf about all the chewing gum we had on the floor, on the streets in Germany. And he was like, why are your streets so dirty here in Germany? I thought Germans are like really tidy up and they care for how things look. Why is there so much garbage sometimes around and all this chewing gum? Doesn't this bother you in daily life? And I was like, I never thought about this. I never looked on the ground and saw this chewing gum so much. But when we came back from Japan, I noticed what he was talking about. Like in Japan, everything is just really clean. You don't see so much garbage like in Germany. And when we came back, I started seeing all this chewing gum on the ground. And I never saw this chewing gum before. I was walking every single day the same streets and I never noticed it. But when I first saw how clean it is in Japan and compared this suddenly to German situations, I thought, yeah, he was right. And now it bothers me. Yeah, first trip was 2019 and I came around 1 year ago to Japan right now. I guess we traveled 4 times to Japan before we decided to move here. Yes, we came like every single year. But during the COVID-19 period, we couldn't travel to Japan so much. I guess there are also a lot of memes on the internet about this situation because usually they say like, if you go 1 time to Japan, it will be always Japan in the future. So I guess this is something that is really true for a lot of visitors. A lot of people who visit Japan for the first time will often come like twice or 3rd or 4th time. And they don't think about other countries anymore so much. So usually European people, because we have so many different countries next to us, we usually travel along Europe all the time. And maybe you think like, oh, maybe this year I will go to Greece and next year I will go to Italy. But for me it was only, oh, I'm back in Germany. When is the next time that we will go to Japan? And what do I want to see in Japan? Yeah. I guess Japan has so many things to offer for travelers. From a German perspective, I can't understand so much why Japanese people might want to travel abroad so much. Because Japan has like everything. You have the beaches, you have like the snowy areas, you have the mountains, you have waterfalls. This island has just so much to offer. In Germany, we don't have so many things. We also have a little bit kind of beach area. In the northern section of Germany, it's really small, but usually the weather isn't that great. So Germans often travel because the country doesn't have so much to offer for a good vacation. You can't go to like beautiful places like Okinawa so easily. So you have to go to another country. And also the traveling in Japan is so convenient because you have the Shinkansen, you have all those planes, you have the buses, and it just really works. It's always on time in Japan. Of course, it's not that easy for me to live like so far away from my family. And this is also like a little bit of a sad story from me because my mother died a few years ago, way too young because of cancer. And she was always like a person that was putting her own luck always behind. And she always said she could do all these things in life that she wanted to do one day when she's in retirement and then she don't have to work anymore. But actually she never entered retirement. So this was also like a wake-up call for me at this time. It was like a message to me to enjoy my life and to do everything that I want to do, because we never know how much time we will have left in life. This is why it's a little bit of a sad story for me. My older brother, he moved to Switzerland a few years ago, also before all of this happened. So my brother and I were already used to a little bit of distance, so it wasn't like a huge difference for us that I will go to Japan now. But for me and my father, it was much more harder. Yeah. After the death of my mom, we planned to take my father on a vacation to Japan with us to show him the country and also to have like something positive again. And it was also the moment after our engagement and also before we planned our wedding. So it was also important for us that our parents can meet each other before we get like married and become like one family. And after my father met the parents of my husband, he suddenly came to me on the evening and said, "The two of you should really go to Japan. You really should move here." And this was really surprising for me because I haven't talked about this topic with him before, and I also didn't know how to tell him because, yeah, of course we wanted to go to Japan, but I also didn't want to like leave my father behind. So I was kind of relieved that he was speaking about this and came to me after this. And he was just so impressed by the kindness, the cleanliness and the safety that he experienced during his trip here in Japan. Yeah, it was really impressive for him. My favorite places so far that we have seen in Japan were Hiroshima, especially Miyajima Island. I found it's really, really beautiful, also with all these shikadias. For Kyushu, I really loved Kurokawa Onsen. It was also our favorite onsen place so far, but also Itoshima and Hita. For places near of Tokyo, it was for me Atami and Mount Takao and Kamakura. I also like Ibaraki-ken and Tochigi-ken, which is my husband's place where he's from. And I would really love to see more tourists to travel also to Tochigi Prefecture. I think it's really sad that so many tourists don't visit Tochigi that much. It's not that popular yet. I haven't seen Hokkaido yet. I really want to go like places to Hokkaido. I would say Genbaku Dome in Hiroshima and also like the museum there. It was like, I can't even tell this so much to my viewers because I think people should just go there and see it once with their own eyes. It's really hard to put the feelings that you have when looking at all the things in the museum into words. It's better to visit this place once and have your own experiences. Yeah, this was like really impressive for me. Of course, it's not like a funny thing to do, but I think it's like really memorable. Yeah. For funny things, I would suggest to go to like onsen places. Yeah, especially when it's like an onsen town like Kusatsu or Kurokawa, because you don't hang only in the onsen all the time. You can also wear your yukata and walk around the town and enjoy all the street food and all the delicious things that they have to offer. Yeah, so onsen vacation is also a really nice thing to do. Actually a really tough question for me because when it comes to Japanese food, it's not that easy to pick one favorite dish for me. I love a lot of Japanese dishes, like from Okinawan food over family classics or more festive ones like osechi-yori or ihomaki. So I would connect good food experience also with certain places that I've been to. Like, for example, I had the most delicious kaisendon in Atami. I had the best takoyaki in Osaka, Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki, of course, in Hiroshima. I had the best gyoza in Utsunomiya. I had motsunabe in Fukuoka. I had grilled oysters in Itoshima. And the best unagi-don I ever ate was in Hita. So these memories will always stay in my heart. This is when I think about what my most or best experience with Japanese food was and the most delicious dishes. It's hard for me to pick just one. I would say I can only compare this a little bit with Germany. Like, for example, in the beginning when we moved to Japan, I was worried about a lot of things. I was worried about how things will work if we have to go like to the citizen's office, for example, or find an apartment. So I was really worried about those things because usually these are things that are really not that easy to do in Germany and really stressful. But actually the Japanese service culture is just overall so good, it's so convenient and people are so friendly and helpful that it was no big deal at all. So no matter if you're searching for an apartment or if you're going to the citizens hall, people will always try to help you as best as they can, and they will always be supportive to you. This was really a good feeling for me. Yeah, I can really appreciate the service culture here in Japan. My husband too, he was never thinking so much about the service culture in Japan. He thought that things like omatase shimashita or irashaimase are just usual normal things for him. But after he lived like 5 to 6 years in Germany, he could really appreciate the service culture in Japan much more. But I was of course also worried that if we move to Japan and my Japanese is still that bad, that this will also have like a bad situation for us in our relationship, because I have to rely so much on him in the first years, and this can also be a really stressful time for a couple. But he's really supportive and I'm so thankful that I have him. It's not normal that he's doing all these things for me. 日本の生活は本当に好きです。とても大好きです。I really remember one particular moment where I really felt safe and glad to be here in Japan. It was like right in the beginning when we moved here. And we were sitting on a bus late in the evening and I looked outside the window, and in the dark, outside in the rain, I could see like 2 small children. It was an older brother with his younger sister, and they were walking home alone in the darkness, only the 2 of them with their umbrella. And this was also like kind of a culture shock for me, and I was really impressed to see something like this, because in Germany, the society isn't safe anymore, and you wouldn't see children walking home alone in the darkness at all. Seeing those 2 children with their umbrella walking home alone at night really remembered me to my childhood with my brother. And it also wasn't always like this in Germany, so it was really like, yeah, traveling back in time and seeing again a safe and good and healthy society. This really felt good in the beginning. So I really got this feeling of we made the right decision, and it's good that we are here and that we were planning to raise children in Japan instead of Germany. はい、とても楽しいです。日本の生活は本当に大好きです。So at the moment I'm pregnant with our first child. So I can't search for any jobs right now, to be honest. But of course my dream is to get fluent in Japanese as soon as possible and to find a job also here in Japan. We will receive our first child in May. So this year will also be another exciting year for us. So thank you for listening to my story today. If you are interested in our life here in Japan and also my journey here, please check out my YouTube channel if you like. Besides vlogs, I'm also making some cooking videos on my channel. It's mostly Japanese kitchen, but I'm also making sometimes like international dishes. And I'm also talking about the cultural differences I experience here in daily life. So if you like, please check it out, and thank you so much for watching, and feel free to ask your questions in the comment section of this video. Arigatou gozaimashita. Auf Wiedersehen.